How y'all doing? This is Mongo Slay, and I got some really bad news, man. I think WWE really hates Drew McIntyre. Like, I really do. There's something about the way that they're using Drew McIntyre I don't like. And I know exactly what it is. It's that they have routinely, since WrestleMania, since he won the title, they just have him beating the same people like a drum every single week. First it was Andrade and Angel Garza. He's beating them one at a time, then beating them together, then knocking their heads together like the Three Stooges and throwing them out of the ring. Every single week, it was the same thing. Now it's The Miz and John Morrison. Every single week, it's handicap match. Drew McIntyre versus The Miz, Drew McIntyre and blah, blah, blah versus The Miz and John Morrison and blah, blah, blah. It's the same shit every week. They're trying to tank this guy's push. The Miz is the glacier in which that sank the Titanic. You have an opportunity here with this guy. And what they have chosen to do is just feed him to The Miz over and over and over again. The Miz is a guy that is elastic. You beat him 1,000 times, he just comes right back and nothing matters. It's more Miz TV shit. Nothing ever changes. He never gets mad. He never gets upset. Never gets angry. Never gets frustrated with all the losing. Nothing ever changes. It's fucking evergreen. Nothing changes. It is literally the same shit every week. Same jokes. Same comedic style. Everything is the same. It's just blah. It's gray fucking tasteless gravy all over everything. It's the fucking shits. It is the drizzling dog shits. It is horrible what they have done to Drew McIntyre compared to what they do to everyone else. Look, what they've done to the champions on Raw in general, because what they're doing with Asuka is just as fucked up. That's a whole different video. Today we're going to talk about how they're fucking up Drew McIntyre. So, I don't even know where to start. Okay, let's start with the whole, this is the first time Drew McIntyre and AJ Styles are ever going to have a match. They have literally never wrestled in each other anywhere. And they slide the fucking TLC stuff on it. Why do they need to have a TLC match? There's no heat between them. There's no feud. There's no need for this match to be TLC other than, well, you gotta have a TLC match because it's TLC. Fuck, you could have literally done something else. You only need one. You only really need one. Make the women's tag team match the TLC match. That way Lana doesn't have to pin anybody. She can climb the ladder and win that way. That's the cheap way to just get your TLC match on the card and just let McIntyre and Styles have a badass singles wrestling match which they've never had before, which we've never seen before. What's the problem with that? The moment I saw that this match is going to be TLC, I was like, this is going to be fucking stupid. Not only do I hate the fucking TLC as a concept without the original people in it anyway, but for a first time ever match between two guys who really don't have any heat, what the fuck is the point? Other than just doing crash test dummy shit. Okay. I got my bitching out early. Now let's get into what actually took place. So, there was a Miz TV segment. I lost my papers. Where'd my papers go? There was a Miz TV segment in which The Miz does all his still stupid jokes. His guest was AJ Styles. AJ Styles basically said, "Oh, I never wrestled Drew McIntyre anywhere before," and he talked about how he plans to beat him at TLC, which makes sense, of course. Then they talked about how they were going to destroy him, all three of them, because apparently they were going to have a handicap match, Drew and Sheamus against Morrison, Miz, and Styles, because we got to have Miz and fucking Drew McIntyre in every fucking match. They're like surgically stitched to one another at this point. It's like, what the fuck? Who is this supposed to get over? That's what I really want to know. Who gets over in this situation? Who does it benefit? How does it benefit Drew McIntyre to beat these same people over and 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 over? Doesn't benefit anybody. He's not getting over that way. It's only making people dislike him. If anything, it's making people dislike his segments and not want to watch what the fuck he's doing. Because, like, how many times can we watch him beat The Miz? We literally just watched him beat The Miz one-on-one the day before on Tribute to the Troops. Literally, last week he beat The Miz up. He literally beat The Miz up 4 out of 4 weeks of this entire month. Since November. He's beating up The Miz pretty much every week. And The Miz does not get angry, doesn't get upset, doesn't get frustrated. Nothing changes. He just gets beaten up and he's back the next week like Wile E. Coyote. It's fucking stupid. Either way. Anyway, man. Drew comes out. The Miz TV segment. Says that the TLC rules are they favor AJ Styles and his tall friend. Which I guess is the reason why it's a TLC match. So, Almost can help him try to, get to the top of the ladder. So I guess Almost going to have to take a bump or something in order to stop AJ Styles from winning. So then McIntyre actually talked about what I just talked about. Like, oh, these two guys, they pretty tough. I beat them up all the time and they just come right back. And then he says that, do you want to know what the guys in the locker room say about you? He's talking to Miz and Morrison. And he said, and Sheamus kind of whispers to him. And he says, they say you have no balls. And he said, well, I guess you do have balls, but they're not your original balls. He said, Maurice took your balls and you took John Morrison's. And then Almost and Styles slipped out of the ring, and Miz and Morrison tried to fight Sheamus and McIntyre, which of course is stupid, considering Miz and Morrison are feckless fucking heels with no fucking heat and no momentum and nothing. Sheamus could have stepped aside, and we could have perfectly believed that McIntyre could have beat both of these guys up by himself. Why did he need Sheamus? We did literally see him beat both these guys up, right? So why did he need Sheamus? Whatever. Nothing matters. Nothing matters. The one interesting thing about this is that they were having a little bit of fun. McIntyre and Sheamus were kind of having a little bit of fun. They launched McIntyre launched Miz's Money in the Bank, and it boinked out one of the panels on an LED board near the ramp. That was pretty fun. But other than that, I hated this segment. It's the same shit every week. Every week is Miz TV with him talking like he doesn't lose all the time. The character doesn't develop whatsoever. Nothing fucking matters. He acts like last week didn't happen. 2 weeks ago didn't happen. 3 weeks ago didn't happen. 4 weeks ago didn't happen. A month ago didn't happen. Nothing fucking happens. And if nothing happens, how is there any development if nothing ever happens? It's kind of crazy because he shows up every week after getting beat up every week. He's not selling anything. He's not bruised. It's like, what the fuck? Like, I could buy the whole no bruises, no selling thing. But at least Looney Tunes has some sense that, Wile E. Coyote falls off a fucking cliff or something, he has like a arm brace or something. It's ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous. Before this whole thing, though, Keith Lee approached Sheamus, who was taping up his fists. And he says, everybody knows you're just going to change. You're just going to turn your back on Drew McIntyre. I just want to let you know that I'm watching you. And so Sheamus is getting kind of sick of that. He's getting kind of sick of people thinking he's going to turn on his own pal Drew. He's like, that's my buddy. I'm not going to turn my back on him. Then they have the stupid match, which strangely enough, Miz, Morrison, and Styles win. They win because Sheamus bro kicks Drew by mistake. He was trying to bro kick John Morrison, but John Morrison dove out of the way. So Drew was knocked out of the ring. Then Styles hit the phenomenal forearm on Sheamus and pinned him. This was a nothing win because it's a handicap match win. 3 guys should beat 2. But then I didn't even, to be quite honest, man, I'm not going to hold you up. I'm going to shoot straight from the hip. I didn't watch this match. I think it was on, but I was looking somewhere else. I did not watch a second of this match. I had to rewind it to see the finish. I told you I'm not watching fucking Miz and McIntyre anymore. I'm fucking sick of that shit. The Tribute to the Troops is the last time I will sit and watch an entire Miz and McIntyre match. I'm never watching it again. I don't want to see it. I don't give a fuck if they're in the Royal Rumble together. I don't want to watch it. Okay, it's that serious at this point. I'm fucking tired of this shit. So after the match, Sheamus is kind of miffed because he kicked McIntyre. It's a complete mistake. Charlie Caruso, with her beautiful lips, came back there and asked a bunch of questions. Sheamus says he's going to come back here and try to kick my ass. And then McIntyre did come back there and was like, stood up straight with Sheamus. He's like, you know where it goes now. Then it went to commercial. Why did it go to commercial? I don't know. So when it comes back from commercial, Sheamus and McIntyre are throwing punches at each other. And, Sheamus is getting thrown around. They're bouncing off the walls. Basically, just punching each other standing up. Pat Buck tries to get between them. They beat his clothes off of him. The both of them. They turn their anger towards him, beat his clothes off of him, powerbomb him through a table, and then laugh and slap each other's shoulders and walk away. And Sheamus says, "Well, you're buying." So they go in and buy a pint. They're a bunch of they're like football hooligans. Sheamus and McIntyre, football hooligans. Now, this is within the archetype of the characters. They're both warriors. I've said this before. The warrior archetypes. Transpersonal relationships. He is a friend with Sheamus, but they're more allies than best. They're kind of best friends, but they're more like allies. They have an understanding. Sheamus kicked him. He had to get his licks in back. Wasn't nothing personal. Pat Buck got in the way. They put Pat Buck through the table. Now, the question is going to be now whether, because we know that that Strowman was suspended for putting his hands on an official, on Adam Pearce. So we know that Strowman shook up Adam Pearce and threw him down, got suspended. So now what's going to happen to Drew McIntyre and Sheamus for putting their hands on Pat Buck? Now, Pat Buck is about an equivalent to Pearce. But I can tell you right now, WWE does not have the balls to stick to it. And nothing will happen. Because you can't suspend McIntyre because he has a match in 2 weeks. So what do? You're going to suspend Sheamus? Which is something that you probably could get away with. You probably could say Sheamus is going to be suspended because he put his hands on a WWE official, Pat Buck, while Drew McIntyre was fined. We don't want to suspend him because suspending him would mean he would have to, miss his title shot, his title match. So we're going to suspend Sheamus, fine McIntyre, which, you think they would do, but how much you want to bet they don't? How much you want to bet they forgot? Because they had to write Strowman off some way because he had to get that surgery. So, it is what it is. And that was the Sheamus, McIntyre, Miz, Morrison, AJ Styles stuff for the night. It was all awful. It was all awful. They are making this Drew McIntyre title run so boring. It could be so much fun. He is about to have his first match ever with AJ Styles. And I don't care. They couldn't even bother to just leave these two guys in the ring to build the story up. It had to be deluged and covered in fucking Miz and Morrison shit. The Sheamus stuff is good. I actually support the Sheamus stuff for the most part. But you could have definitely left Sheamus in the back, Miz and Morrison nowhere near this situation, and just let it be AJ Styles and Drew McIntyre build into this match that they only got like 2 weeks to build, which is the worst idea in the world. You could have just had this match awesome as a straight wrestling match, but it had to be TLC because we got to sell the gimmicks. It's so frustrating. And Raw was full of this stuff, full of these first time evers, never happened before, or this is the first time it happened in WWE. And they mired it as either tag team bullshit, run-ins, comedy, stupid shit. It's a fucking joke, man. This shit is awful. Raw was awful. Like, there were some good things about it, but Raw was mostly awful. But that's it, man. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like this video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll talk to you guys later.